Hey guys, Midnight Strike here, and I'm back for another classic review, this time of Star Wars Battlefront for the PlayStation 2. You know, I have it for Xbox, and I know it's been released for Xbox, so I've only seen screenshots of that one. It looks pretty good, actually. So, either way, you're playing it, Star Wars Battlefront. Same game, same action, same fun, same everything. Let me start off by saying that this is a really good game, and everyone should have played it in their childhood, or at least in their teens like I did. But, it's got tons of replay value, tons of classes for you guys, tons of maps, honestly. And some of the most fun to be had is just in instant action, where you just pick the maps and go. You can go in instant action, it'll ask you to pick the maps, and then as soon as you pick the maps, most of them will have a little thing that says, do you want to play it in the Clone Wars or in the Galactic Civil War? If you play it in the Clone Wars, it'll be clones versus battle droids with their Jedi respective heroes. But if you play in the Galactic Civil War, it'll be the same thing, but with Rebels and Empire. And again, with their respective heroes, the Jedi. Most of the time, it's Count Dooku and Mace Windu for the Clone Wars. Other times, it's going to be Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, apparently. So, instant action is really fun. You've also got your Galactic Conquest, which is very, very drastically different in this game versus its sequel, but we won't get into that. In this Galactic Conquest, it gives you a list of planets that you have to basically take over, essentially. And by take over, I mean beat the squadron of armies that are down below on that territory. So the object of the game in general, I probably should have gotten into this, is to either destroy all of your troops, all of your enemy troops, or take what's known as command posts. You can go around and take command posts and make them yours. You start out with a certain number of them, and those are your respawn points. So naturally, if you take all of your opponent's command posts, you can't respawn. So you win in 20 seconds. It says victory in 20 seconds or defeat in 20 seconds. So I think that's a really great idea. That's a really great game mechanic that really hasn't been seen, at that point. So basically, destroy all their troops or take all their respawn points. And what goes along with the respawn points is an incentive to take certain ones, because once you take a certain command post, you get all the vehicles that respawn there. And the menu interface is actually really good in this game, especially when you're deciding which command post and which soldier you want to pick, because it tells you everything the soldier has in its arsenal. I was looking for the right word. All the weapons that he has, and for the command posts, it tells you all of the all the vehicles that are there. So that's really nice, in my opinion. The second game actually doesn't do that, and I was really disappointed in that. It's something that they should have carried over from the first game, but delving more into the menu interface, for the PS2 version at least, it's really hard to see, especially on bright levels like Hoth, unless you tilt your axis up to look at the sky. Then you can see like the counters and everything, but the light blue menu, see-through menu, kind of counteracts with the white or the bright colors of like Hoth, Renvar, and pretty much any of those levels. So that could have been fixed. They could have made it so that it was a little bit more defined, especially during gameplay. Pausing, it's fine, but other than that, I really have no gripes with it. My biggest gripe would have to be the campaign, because the last mode that I have not talked about yet is called Historical Campaign, and that is where it basically goes on all these, fun missions there to basically the story of Star Wars. But there really isn't any direction, and it's basically just battles. They're not really telling you to do anything. It's like, before the battle, there is a little bit of a story subplot summed up by either like the Emperor or the Rebel Commander or anything like that. But then they just send you into a battle that you could have done in instant action. So not much there. The exception, I believe, is in the beginning when you're on Naboo, whatever. Um, you get to play as the battle droid, which is basically like the SBD, the super battle droid, but he throws grenades. So he's basically like your standard battle droid, and that's really the only time you get to fight as him is in historical campaign before they actually get the SBDs. So that's one thing that you can't do in instant action is play as the original battle droids. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of cool. It doesn't really make much of a difference, though. Character models are somewhat lacking, but the environments are beautiful. And it doesn't really matter because you're shooting them anyways, and they're dying and then they disappear, you know? And the environments are beautiful, plenty of hiding spots, plenty of cover, plenty of interesting areas to explore. And, I mean, why shouldn't you explore? You're looking for command posts to scour and take, you know? To take over. So, overall, the, like I said, the character models, when you're staring at them, like when you're picking your class, when you're choosing your class, they're somewhat lacking, especially in the battle droids department. You know, even when I was, 12, 13 playing this game, I was just like, wait, where are their eyes? You know, you couldn't really see anything. Like, faces or anything. It's just that I mean, they're not bad, but there aren't enough detail. But I guess that doesn't really matter in the grand scale of things because you're basically just going out and shooting them anyways. So, um, what they did in the second game of this was they actually added some objectives to the historical campaign, and that was really nice. They called it Rise of the Empire, and it followed one legion the entire time, which is what they really should have done in historical campaign because they have you they have you playing as everyone throughout the entire thing, and it's really convoluted because it switches perspectives so often. I mean, not to say that it isn't fun, but I could be doing that in instant action, so there's really no difference there. That and this game came out before Revenge of the Sith, the movie, Episode 3, Star Wars, so it doesn't have the climactic battles that pretty much, more or less matter the most in Star Wars history. So, Star Wars Battlefront 2 fixed that. They kind of needed to, but after that, there was the canceled game. It was Battlefront 3. I really wish they would make a third Battlefront, but they have all of their liabilities and their assets frozen or something like that they can't. There's some legal battle going on with Star Wars Battlefront 3, and I really don't think it's going to happen. If it did, that would be amazing. Playing Battlefront on the PS2, or on the PS3 versus all the other games around PS2. Kind of like Sly 4, Thieves in Time. We didn't think that was going to happen, but it did. So, and by the way, I'm playing that, and I'm going to be reviewing it. If you haven't seen my Facebook, I've been making various status updates towards that status, so I will be making a title card, and I'll be posting it shortly, within the next couple days. So, overall, Star Wars Battlefront is a very fun game to play, and it was actually pretty much my first exposure to, first/third person shooting, because I had just grown up playing platformers and racing games, so it was a nice breath of fresh air for me, anyways. But the only drawbacks are the less detailed character models and the less well thought out historical campaign. Other than that, this game truly shines in every other area. So, deserving probably a 9 out of 10, to be honest. I mean, the only downfall of this game of Star Wars Battlefront is its short historical campaign and the less detailed character models. I mean, there really isn't anything else that I can really say. I mean, it's a simplistic shooter, so, if you haven't played it, you can probably get it for cheap at either a used game store or online even. Like, I've found games on eBay for like $2, so it's great. And only buy from top sellers. That's my Midnight Strike 3625 tip of the day. Only buy from top sellers. I have been gypped so many times when I don't. So then I switched over. I've never been taken advantage of. So it's great. So this is Midnight Strike 3625. Keep calm and rock on. Thank you.